Thank you, Jessie, for that warm welcome. As with the traditional Aboriginal protocols, when a mob of us all come together, you know, we just like to do something that is culturally, well, I guess, you know, out with the negative and in with the new, in case there's any heebie-jeebies floating around and stuff like that, to give the event a good positive feeling. And I guess, well, it is of a spiritual persuasion too, and acknowledging and respecting and being grateful for what we have, the Creator of all things, that we give thanks to, and to we did this in traditional times. We did have traditional festivals and coming together, and we were restricted by tribal boundaries, and that was why we were easily invaded, you know. But we broke those boundaries down for purposes of certain fruits coming out, which attracted certain animals, and I guess you could say we were the best business people. And why is that? Because we traded. It was a system of you enhance my life, I enhance yours. But then we certainly had those boundaries too. So this song I want to perform from my country, Murray country. I'm a Gurri-ima-ngarmi, Koori Woman, my father from Cape York way, and Wapabara Island Aboriginals from Hervey Bay, at Keppel Island there. My grandmother, Yinga-bul, was born on Keppel Island, and it was a matriarchal society. They were very involved in decision-making processes for the betterment of the community. But I'm taking a song called Gurri-ima-ngarmi, which goes way back, that a lot of us have shared, and it's from Murray country to bless you, and Aksa created to look after you and give you those positive vibes. Gurri-ima-ngarmi. Hey, Gurri-ima-ngarmi, Jojo Mabiro. Gurri-ima-ngarmi, Jojo Mabiro. Hey, Gurri-ima-ngarmi, Jojo Mabiro. Gurri-ima-ngarmi, Jojo Mabiro. Gurri-ima-ngarmi, Jojo Mabiro. Gaya man maranga jago junga yungu. Gaya man maranga jago junga yungu. Gurri-ima-ngarmi, Gurri-ima-ngarmi. I also do a blues show in Sydney called Marloo's Blues. You can listen online, Koori Radio 93.7 FM. And if you love the blues as much as I do, you'll choose Marloo's Blues. Okay. First song is basically to, warm up to. It's on my album. You can download on iTunes. And it's called The Blues That Knows Your Name. much for money, and it don't care much for fame. The blues will always find you. It will find you every time. The blues will always find you. It will find you every time. Don't care if you drink whiskey, and it don't care if you drink wine. I can hear the blues walking, walking down that hall. I can feel it coming nearer, hear it knocking at the door. Blues, it treads so softly, so softly do it tread. That blues, it treads so softly, so softly do it tread. Till it creep up on behind you and bite you on the bunty, yeah, bite you right there, and live inside your head. Thought I'd cheer it up a bit, you know, gotta have a balance. Oh, the blues, it won't let go. It never will let go. The blues, it won't let go. No, it never, never will let go. I can hear the night calling. I can feel that darkness grow. If any of you know a great Aboriginal jazz singer, she performed a lot of her career down here in Melbourne, Georgia Lee. Her album's called Down Under Blues. What I have a very strong passion about is, because of the nature of the politics meted out to Aboriginal people back in the day, there was that divide in more ways than one, you know. and in this case with musicians. There's phenomenal musicians out there who perform great music and wrote their own too. There was and I also want to tell you about the sad indictment of Australia in regards to Aboriginal people not being able to get a job. In this case, there was the Redding sisters from Cairns. There was Wilma May Redding, and there was Heather May Redding. No, that's right. It was just Wilma Redding, Heather May Redding, and Georgia Lee. And you notice they all adopted southern names because they had to create a demeanour of being African American, like we was down the bottom rung of the ladder. And Wilma carved a career out in England. She actually got a role, I don't know if you remember back in the 60s, there was this great poster boy, African American actor, Jim Brown, and he did a movie with Raquel Welch, and well, just Google her anyway, that's the good thing, you know, Google everything these days. And I remember seeing Heather May Redding when I was very young. They had the afro with the big hoop earrings, and Whiskey A Go-Go got bombed up in Brisbane, but I saw her there, and Georgia Lee. So that was the dilemma they were in. And if they wanted a type of jazz or anything like that, that's what they did. That's what they were conditioned to do. My father, Darcy Cummins, was a great multi-instrumentalist too. He went, you know, like even South Sea Islanders, Pacific Islanders, Maori people, that he had to put on a Hawaiian type shirt or something like that, and say that there's anything else but Aboriginal. But anyhow, I want to sing a Yarra River Blues, and I've slightly changed the arrangement. She has an album called Down Under Blues, and the lyrics are wonderfully, you know. Lonely as a wail of a widow, empty as a cry of a crow, sad as a weary old widow, no place to go. Heartbreaking news, down under blues, despairing. It's kind of Billie Holiday-esque, you know. So, and Yarra River Blues, this is a nice little light up-tempo one. So, oh, Wendy, sorry. You're doing an intro thing, aren't you? I'm going to give you a whole verse of it, haven't I? Here we go. Yarra, Yarra River took my baby from me. Oh, Yarra, Yarra River took my baby from me. Oh, and she swept him out to the deep blue sea. Yeah. There was ripples on the water, lake changing tide. Oh, now there was ripples on the water, lake changing tide. Oh, you Yarra River, you, I won't forget your cry. Now he was long and he was skinny, tall and he was lean. He had eyes like pools of water when they ended in a stream. Mean old river, look what you done to me. Oh, you just keep rolling down to the deep blue sea. Yeah, play that solo for me one time, Wendy. I had to include Georgia Lee, you know, famous Aboriginal jazz singer. She goes back about 3 or 4 decades down here, and it's a little acknowledgement too of these amazing musicians. We've got them all over the country. Tell you a bit more about them later. Okay, as we go. He was tall and he was skinny, he was long and he was lean. Now he had eyes like pools of water and they ended in a stream. Mean old Yarra River, you done to me. Oh, but you just keep rolling blue sea. Yeah, you just keep rolling down to the deep blue sea. Yeah, one more time. Nah, but you just keep rolling down to the deep blue sea. You know, blues is the other side of the tracks music, and I certainly paid my dues to sing the blues. I came down to Sydney to get away from the Joe and Flo show many years ago. Joe Bielke-Peterson, that is, and his wife, and that was, yeah, a lot of, Sydney was like that back in the day, especially in the 60s, you know, where there was this kind of toing and froing in regards to the political climate of the day. Have any of you seen Black Panther Woman? No? Yeah? Oh, we go, oh, Elena. Hi there. We just seen Elena out at the Vision Splendid Festival out at Winton, home of Waltzing Matilda and all that. And she had a movie out there called, you got it, Strange Colours. So, yeah, blues, other side of the tracks. So, you know, I've been homeless and aimless. I've been through addiction. I've come through all that. I know what it's like to kind of, you know, just be in that situation as a young girl. And but anyhow, I had a son to a tall, handsome Aboriginal man who came back from Vietnam, because Vietnam was dressed up as a career. So not just for black people here in this country, but overseas. And it was something that could probably, you know, make something of themselves. And it was deviously dressed up as a career, go away, see strange places and blah-de-blah and all that. And a lot of Aboriginals volunteered to go and fight, and my son's father was one of them, but he came back pretty messed up. But like Aboriginal people, you know, we don't like to, it's not a cultural thing to get too intense about things, even at hard times when the scales of injustice weigh against you. A sense of humour is not just a kind of thing to make people laugh. It is a cultural thing, it is a way of life, and it's about getting that balance. So that's why I said that blues can creep up and bite you on a bunty too. I throw those things in, you know, because that song is kind of like that. Don't want to get too intense with it. I wrote a song called Pension Day Blues, and I've just taken the mickey out of things, being a supporting single mum on the pension. And he was all messed up, understandably, from the Vietnam War, and he was just drinking. And I actually first met him, he was this bouncer at a nightclub that all the Aboriginal people used to frequent. So with that turnaround intro, Wendy, Pension Day Blues. I've got those pension day blues again. My man only loved me pension day. You know what I'm talking about? I've got those pension day blues again. I said my man only loved me pension day. Oh, that sweet talking Koori man who knows how to talk my check away. He comes up to my doorstep the day before I get my money. Oh, people, he comes up to my doorstep right the day before I get my money. Oh, now he's a losing man, a boozing man, but I get taken by his honey. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. He's a rambling, gambling, drinking man. All his money goes on, what's that Aboriginal word for weed? Aunty. Oh, he's a rambling, gambling, drinking man. All his money goes on Aunty. I give him $60 someday. Oh, but you know that man ain't broke by Monday. Someday I'll wake up to myself and I'll be on that train and gone. Yeah, play that pour me a drink. Oh, someday I'll wake up to myself and I'll be on that bus and gone away. Oh, now people, I hate to sing and I say, but he only loved me pension day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He gave me sugar in the morning. Honey, late at night. I tell you people, he gave me sugar in the morning. No more for you, 'cause I'm gone. Yeah! And I wrote this song because of my childhood down on the camp. It was fringe camp, you know. This is back in the day in the 50s and 60s when we lived on fringe camps because we weren't considered citizens and the rest of it. And it's just basically I want to educate people about the truth, and it's all about our own sense of decency and humanity that we all need to instill in us, you know, for our own personal well-being. It's not about beating you over the head with the old nulla of guilt. You know, people kind of, think like that. So let's hit it, Wen, for Boomerang Alley. It was in the town of Wheaton many years ago. It was in the 1950s, the place I had to grow. Best years of my life in Boomerang Alley. We didn't have no worries about what we'd eat today. We could fish and hunt, hang around around and play. Us Murray kids had fun when the fruit truck come around. We'd try and steal the fruit and hope we wasn't found. Best years of my life in Boomerang Alley. I remember Harry Isles in his dapper suit and Gordon Fisher in his old blue ute. Seafer and Johnny living in their tent. Aunty Amy Doyle, Ada and Billy Kemp. Best years of my life in Boomerang Alley. At night there was the movies and the old picture show. It didn't have no roof and everyone would go. My daddy used to jam at Ducko Fraser's house with Richard Martin sliding and playing was grass. The best years of my life was hearing guitar boogie. Yeah, Wendy, play that guitar boogie. That's the one. Our daddy used to play that so well. He was a great guitar player. Yeah. Dad had taught and played his music round the land. He played at all the dances and in the Winton Town Band. No one played guitar like my daddy used to do. And he drove a Caterpillar tractor. I'm telling you, this is true. Best years of my life in Boomerang Alley. There was Nick Cantolin's cafe where we would go to eat. When payday came around, it sure was a treat. No choice of where to live, we weren't allowed to stay in town. Keep us out, but they couldn't keep us down. Best years of my life in Boomerang Alley. Our shack was on the last block near the old cemetery, and we got everything we wanted as long as it was free. It was always hot and dusty, I recall the hot dry heat. Now my mind walks down the track, but it used to be my feet. Best years of my life in Boomerang Alley. Best years of my life in Boomerang Alley. One time. Best years of my life in Boomerang Alley. Wendy Yang. You know, I ain't ashamed to share my struggle with addiction. You know, I've got all of the above. One more to go, but it's pretty much alcohol, drugs, heavy nicotine habit, and the final how would you say, addiction I've had to deal with was gambling. And you know, it's like a really no good relationship, you know, one of them. You ever had one of them relationships, you know, they do all the wrong things, they say all the wrong things, you know, but as soon as you walk in the room and it's there, you go a week in the knee and you just give them all your money. So it's like that, but I guess, like I said, you know, as far as it goes with the tradition and the involvement of the blues, I don't know why, I don't know where it started. Like, you know, I know the history that it came from African-American slave being displaced over in America. You know, and they did the field hollers to keep them going under those extraordinary kind of conditions. Field hollers, you know, and if there was a runaway slave, they'd kind of do the call and response, and little did they know the boss was, when the slave master was coming, they'd tell the runaway slave through that call and response singing, you know. It's called field hollers, which evolved to spirituals, to gospel, and to blues, as it is today. And so I guess I do know that we didn't, just quickly, we didn't have blues come to these shores, and we had country and rock and pop, back in the 50s and 60s, and but country came, and I understand why a lot of Aboriginal people hooked onto country, and I think if the blues reached our shores by way of the wireless, as we called it then, the radio, I'm sure we would have liked that too. But I don't know why, but when I was a kid, but somebody came along and did something extraordinary with country and bluesed it up, and it got me right in the gut. Oh, gee, I like that. That was Ray Charles. He did something really innovative and creative. He bluesed up that country, and when I first heard, I Can't Stop Loving You, oh, it got me right there. He was very, I saw the movie Ray, it was amazing. He used to do the Chitlin circuit, and his band members say, what do you want to go do that with them white folk for? What's happening? But he was he was a great musician, and it was all about not just getting a job too in those days. It's always about when that music is in your DNA, See, a lot of my people, even people who compromised their culture to look African American, were kind of abused for that, if you like. Not abused, but it was looked down on, But heck, they couldn't get a gig back then, It was all about that. It's also there's so many of them, But anyway. My next song is about... See, I went off into that tangent again, but I'm worrying about time. But I'm going to sing this song, You Can't Win, in regards to my experiences with gambling. And gambling is like what they call the great remover. Wendy. You can't win if you play now. Don't sit down at the table and gamble your life away. You can't win if you play now. Don't sit down at the table and gamble your life away. Rolling the dice on the roulette wheel. Tell me just how lucky do you feel? Well, the table's rigged and the deck is stacked. You jumped up in this game and you just can't jump back. You can't win if you play now. Don't sit down at the table and gamble your life away. Oh, no, no, you can't win if you play now. Sit down at the table and gamble your life away. I know Jesus is my Savior. He tempers my mortal soul, shapes my behavior. Try to hide and you try to run. God knows where you've been and Lord knows what you've done. Hey, yeah. My brother, yeah, he took a big chance. He asked that wrong somebody to have a little dance. He went to the party without a party hat. He stuck in that old rat trap and stiffer than a mud that rat. You can't win if you play now. Don't sit down at the table and gamble your life away. Oh, no, no, you can't win if you play now. Sit down at the table and gamble your life away. Gamble your life away. Oh, no, don't gamble your life away. Oh, you just gamble old 60s song. Like bread and butter. Anybody know that one? Midnight toast and jam. But if I'm gambling, I won't have no bread and butter. I got no bread and butter. I got no toast and jam. 'Cause I gamble my life away. Gamble my life away. Oh, you can't win. Thank you. It's funny, I forgot to tell you the little yarn about Pension Day Blues. The guy who produced my album, Richard Fields, is actually from down here. And he was a friend of Eric Burdon. And quite a few years ago, Eric Burdon came out here to kind of promote his autobiography, and it was a private kind of thing, and so it took me along, and I did a kind of welcome to country for Eric Burdon. I got to yarning with him, and I was telling him about my music and stuff, and, you know, it was like, I said, you know, but all my people, every time I get up to perform, you know, because you know, you're never short of a gig in your community. You know, that's what it's like. When we have community events, the elders are there, the children are there, the adults, and even the family dog. So, you know, and I say, but every time I perform, they always sing out, because I wrote that song about 35, 36 years ago. They always sing out, sing Pension Day Blues, Aunty Marlene, sing Pension Day Blues. And I'm like, oh, and I was telling him, I'm sick of that, you know. And he looked at me and said, that's extraordinary, more or less. And he said, every time I perform, they always sing out, sing House of the Rising Sun. Sing House of the Rising Sun. And I'm like, really? He said, yeah, and I hated it. I said, you're kidding me. You're kidding me. You're connecting with me. This little old Koori Woman in Queensland, outback Queensland, got a song, doesn't want to sing it, but everybody sings out for it. And you... It's so surreal, because I grew up loving your music when I was a young girl. I said, oh, gee, that's amazing. He said, but you know what, Marlene? He said, I had to kind of love it, because the light turned on one day, that, you know, kind of, he said, he had this kind of epiphany. He said, I had to realise that was a song that made me, you know. Well, I'm not as popular as he is, but I mean, I do all right. I'm not as great as I fantasise I'd like to be, but I do all right. Enough to pay the bills, and sometimes I get the little bonus, you know, the 5-star hotel. I've travelled the world, you know, I've done so many things all over the world, been to blues festivals, and if someone would have told me, a fortune teller would tell me all the things I've achieved today since I've cleaned myself up, I would never have believed it. And I'm still going strong, you know. I'm working on a documentary addressing great blues jazz musicians from this country. And I was over in New Orleans last year because, you know, going all through the south there and everywhere, and Dockery's Farm, reportedly the first kind of involvement of the blues from there. There's all... great musicians such as Memphis Minnie, Howlin' Wolf, and all these guys. And that's because I'm Aboriginal. If I'm going to write about other people and their music, you've got to pay respects to them first, you know. It's not a sensationalist kind of thing, just all about me. So that's why I had to go over there, to pay respects to them, to Charlie Patton, you know, and all these people. So, yeah, this song is, well, I guess it's titled Insufficient Funds. Song about my ATM card. I thought I'd stick them together, you know, since I've, you know, the gambling and stuff. You know what? Yesterday, because I came in before Wendy, oh my God, you know, because I grew up in a gambling household, you know. I grew up in a gambling, my father was just so, ever since I was this high, you know, the adults would be playing and you know, their kids, we'd be in another room gambling and stuff like this, the old two-up and all that sort of stuff. But I went up and I asked someone, oh, where's the shops? Because I wanted to buy something for myself. And they said, oh, no shops around here, but there's a Crown Casino there. and they've got lots of shops there. And, you know, cleaning up the denial, and there was just a little mustard seed or something, or, you know, and just being aware of it. This is the process I had to go to. I'm so well rehearsed and so much denial and bullshit, you know. I honestly, you know, to be perfectly honest with you, I honestly find it very difficult to be honest, you know, when it comes to... But I had a little moment and I went up there and I did what was taught to me in recovery circles. Do that, you know, change the tapes up there. Be mindful of, you know, but sometimes when you've been doing it so many years, you know, you're kind of thinking about it, but them feet still walking towards it. So I'm glad I did my little thing, what I had to do and learnt from recovery circles, and I came back and it just comes, and it's, before you know it, it passes, and realising that and having that consequential thinking, you know, what are the consequences if you do that, you know. So, Insufficient Funds, Wendy. It's a bit of a ragtime style. Insufficient funds is all I get. I'm just a living, breathing pile of debt. I'm gonna get me some money, I haven't yet. Insufficient funds is all I get. No flour, no treacle for Johnny cake and tea. Nothing in my cupboard, and my landlord's chasing me. My man been up and left me, I'm sure you'd agree. Insufficient funds is a curse on me. This is where I kind of should have learnt to tap dance, eh? It's got that hit, it kind of screaming for me to tap dance, you know. I will learn, mate. I got it for this song. Oh, no money, no honey, no things I can afford. I need someone to help me, won't you help me, Lord? I need a man who won't be just for me. Insufficient funds, curse on me. The ATM, you know, it always goes to say this. Insufficient funds in my bank today. The money I had is gone astray. I tried to keep it there, but it just went off to play the pokies. No flour, no treacle, Johnny cake and tea. Nothing in my cupboard, and my landlord's chasing me. My man been up and left me, I'm sure you'd agree. Insufficient funds is a curse on me. I said now, insufficient funds, curse on me. I mean, insufficient funds, curse on me. Insufficient funds is a curse on poor bugger me, cookie LNG, this country. Nah, gammon. This next song is actually a Mavis Staples song. And in my rush to get here too, I did want to bring this archive of letters of my grandfather, Willie Cummins, asking the Chief Protectorate, my father as well as my grandfather were amazing workers. Like I said in the song Boomerang Alley, you know, like my father drove a big Caterpillar tractor. He was a go-getter. He was not just a great musician, and he learned how to drive them big Caterpillar tractors and big high-up ones, and he paved all those outback roads from Winton to Long, right as far into as Brisbane, Queensland. And and I had this archive of a letter of my grandfather, Willie Arkson, for his wages that he worked for, and there's his thumbprint on it. But they kind of said, no, we're putting it in trust. Yeah, we're not a trust. My mother too, they're amazing hard workers. I wanted to dedicate tonight to my mother, Ruth Marlene Cummins, nee Richards. Like I said, I only lost her about 3 weeks ago. She was an amazing woman. I've never seen my mother face twist with hate or anger. She doesn't engage in gossip. She's a very dignified woman, and she only loved my father. And he left her when she was in her 20s. but she kept having children to him, all 10 of us really. And he left her for another woman, but he kept having this, yes. So my grandparents didn't like him much. He was this colourful, womanising musician, and he rode a motorbike, a Triumph, I think it was, a war model. But anyway, I don't, you know, it's, you know, I kind of, like a, you know, you just got to think of the social conditionings. But like I am about, you know, I have strong feelings about violence on women. And my mother, she was just kind of, she actually had a nervous breakdown from being separated from us, and but she was put in some institution and subjected to dark age treatments, of shock treatment and all that. She never stopped loving my father though, and I have been, you know, I have strong feelings about misogyny. I have very strong feelings about the terrorism that exists in this country. Yeah, the terrorism of one woman dying a week from a man, at the hands of a man that they love, you know. That is like, that's a terrorism that hasn't been addressed. When you look at it, I have strong feelings about that. Thinking of you too, Jill Ma. And I sort of know that insofar as Aboriginal women to being right on the bottom of the ladder in regards to this misogynistic world we live in. And I just hope to see men step up to the mark too and support us women, you know. It seems to be always in the hands of women to clean up all this, and it'd be great to see them, you know, step up to the mark and do it with us. And I'm not just talking about everyday men here, like maybe in the audience or wherever. I'm talking about the politicians and the so-called institutions of justice of the day, in education, health, everything. So let's, this song, Mavis Staples, when will we be paid for the work we've done, you know? And this is addressing the stolen wages. And all I had to change was a couple of words in regards to the situation here. Wendy, thank you. When will we be paid for the work we've done? When will we be paid for the work we've done? We have worked this country shore to shore, and women cooked your food and washed all your clothes. We've chipped on your cotton and laid the railroad steel, worked our hands to the bone at your laundry mill. When will we be paid for the work we've done? When will we be paid for the work we've done? We've fought all your wars in every land to keep this country free for women, children and men. We've been separated from the land that we knew, stripped of our culture. People, you know that's true. Beat up, call names, shot down and stoned. Every time we do right, someone say we're wrong. When will we be paid for the work we've done? When will we be paid for the work we've done? separated from the land that we knew, stripped of the culture. People, you know that's true. Beat up, call names, shot down and stoned. Every time we do right, someone say we're wrong. When will we be paid for the work we've done? When will we be paid for the work we've done? Oh, when will we be paid for the work we've done? When will we be paid for the work we've done? Wendy, thank you so much. You know, a lot of Aboriginal people, they leave their respective areas because it's an issue of power and powerlessness, and you want to bring about change. And so that's my my reason as to why I stay in Sydney. I've got too many emotional and mental scars from living in the deep north. But due to my spiritual persuasion as an Aboriginal person, when you go to other people's country, you have to pay respects because they're the ones from there, they've been looking after that country, you know, and so there's that protocol. So I wrote this song to say to, I've been living in Redfern for many, many years. I wrote this song to say thank you in regards to my spiritual persuasion. I put it in the form of singing a song about a mighty Aboriginal warrior, Pemulwuy. Have any of you heard of Pemulwuy? Oh man, he's the stuff movies are made of. I swear. They're going to do a movie about Pemulwuy. Seriously. I mean, do you know the story? Do you do? Amazing. He was this Aboriginal man who, when the British were coming and he was witnessing all these people, you know, suffering and dying and everything, he was a true warrior. He was a warrior of high degree, and the best English interpretation we could use for that is what we call a clever man. A clever man. But yeah, you've probably seen that series on TV, ABC, Clever Man. But a lot of Aboriginal people don't like it because they're taking a kind of... I'm not knocking it, it's just that, you know, I suppose in the industry we're just trying to find means and ways of getting out there, but it's the sensationalisation, so TV, of clever men without the real true context of what a clever man is. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, clever men, but in the Aboriginal way, it's a very kind of situation of respect and high regard for someone, especially is. And now, you know, Pemulwuy, he could be kind of watching them soldiers, and they'd be from here to the wall away. You know, he could blend into the bush, and they chased him for 12 years. And in the song, the last verse of the song, I say, "You saw their evil, you let them cut you down. Clever man got to move to higher ground." And that's what I believe. So for me, it started with those amazing warriors, men and women. And after that song, where I pay tribute to Pemulwuy, I will sing a tribute to Aboriginal women from this country, such as Truganini, and in the Redfern community, Mum Shirl, who's a matriarch of, you know, she did all the groundwork for, you know, a lot of the community. You know, she wasn't a politician, she was feeding people, you know, she she took kids off the streets and looked after them. Many. So she led by example, better than the politicians did. And, well, I'll do Pemulwuy right now. It's a cappella. And in the end of the song, you'll hear me chanting, Dana Banbara Yaba Wanana Yaba, brother, I respect you, I honour you. And, not to be forgotten because of your contribution. So it did start with those Aboriginal men and women warriors, fighting for what was rightfully theirs. And without any further ado, I'll sing Pemulwuy. Pemulwuy, 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 Bijigal man from this land fought against invaders to save his people's land. 12 long years you bravely fought. Military might didn't stop your plight against invasion of a once proud nation. Bijigal man from this land, oh clever man from this land, Pemulwuy, Pemulwuy. They put 7 bullets inside your body, leg, arms on your feet, put you in that stronghold. Oh, clever payback man, just can't be beat, just can't be beat. Bijigal man from this land, oh, clever payback man from this land, Pemulwuy, Pemulwuy. You saw their evil, you let them cut you down. Clever man gotta move to higher ground. Bijigal man, oh clever payback man, just can't be beat, just can't be beat. Oh Pemulwuy, 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 Pemulwuy. Tana banbari yaba wanana, 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 tana banbari yaba wanana. Thank you. I just want to tell you, I won't say too much, but I went to pick up the recording of Pemulwuy, and there was a young non-Indigenous fella there. I struck up conversation with him, and he said, he seemed really happy. His father, it was his birthday, and he's getting his first CD, at the studio that I was picking up the final Pemulwuy recording. And I said, oh, that's nice. And And I said, oh, what did your father give you for your birthday? He said, oh, he gave me he gave me a book about the mighty Aboriginal warrior Pemulwuy. I said, I'm just going in here to pick up my recording. I'll tell you. Ooh, woo. I was singing this at the Yarra Festival, 26th of January up in Sydney. And when I sang out Pemulwuy, big wind come out of nowhere. And blew, scattered things just on that stage. So, clever man, all right. And there was a couple of, but I don't think I want to go into it. It's kind of really like that, so yeah. So, clever man, all right. This song I'd like to dedicate to Aboriginal women. Aboriginal women throughout history. Mum Shirl, Truganini, Hoodgeroo Noonuckle. Oh yeah, everything, everything gonna be I'm talking about my Thank you.